Hello YouTube, for progress update number 2. I'm going to demo the game and just show you what I've done. And then on the second half, I'll talk about what technologies have changed, like how it works behind the scenes a little bit. But I figured if people do start watching this in bigger numbers, they're probably just going to care about the game. So I'll put that first and then technical stuff second. So yeah, this is the game. I think the first thing you'll probably see is that we have real polygon models in the game now. We don't have a player character. I'm still a blue X or cross. If I fly around, you can see that there's a light that follows me. We have stone tiles. We have magma, and the magma it's hard to tell here, but kind of slowly dries to stone. So that's all in there. If I let the world grow, you can see what I've been up to. I give myself lots of XP. So I'm actually going to pause that sound effect. No, okay, I'll just leave it. The sound effect is magma growing. So yeah, we have seed or grass that starts growing. We have some trees. At the moment, it just randomly selects, and you can just about see around those trees the dirt changes color. That's because when the grass or the trees get to a certain point, they start consuming the water that's in the dirt, and now that is dry dirt, so it can't grow anymore. Those trees will be willow trees, and the model is a work in progress. So if I take some of this grass away, you'll see that all the dirt is dry now because it used that water to grow. Got my first NPC spawn. I've also had toggles to turn things on and off. But the evil spawners are now little volcano things, little vents. And yeah, I don't know if this was here last time. I don't think so. You can change your characters. Each angel has its own world. So I can go back to the world we had before. And there's a little preview of some bigger trees and some water and some clouds, obviously work in progress. Yeah, we have a mini map, which is cool. It's all persisted, so if I go back to this world, I can continue where I left off. I'll keep moving around a little bit. Magma spawns, right? Shift P, it'll go faster. Magma cools into warm magma. So yeah, we have damage scaling based on your level. Now the growth is kind of stalled for the tiles that had some growth. So if I go up and you fly, then you start growing clouds. So if you just want to expand your world, you need clouds. If you go underneath, clouds cannot spawn anymore, but they can progress into rain clouds, which will eventually rain down on the dirt, make it wet, or if there's multiple rain events, it will get very wet, and that will allow multiple growth cycles. And then if a tree gets to the max stage, it can spawn some dirt. We do have water that lands, so if I just let it rain a little bit, water does land. At the moment, I think water does block the spread of dirt, but we'll change that later so it pushes it out of the way, so it's easy for you to generate rivers and lakes and stuff. Yeah, lots to do. You can see funny things here, like the spawner, blocking the water, and the water is just a temporary block. We'll change how that's done later. You can travel to other players' world, so I'm the world 7 angel here, and I can go to that 63 one, or the 63 player one. So that's that 1061. So I can quickly travel over there, and now I'm on the other world. On settings, we have dev rendering, so I can control the render distance. We have some performance issues. I've been working on it. It is getting better, but some of the big wins for performance I haven't done yet, so we'll do that soon. You can see down here I've got FPS, it's 40, which is quite bad. But we can do things like we can hide objects. See, it's very wet. There's a lot of testing the cloud system. We can hide the tiles, so we can do things. Oh yeah, we can place objects. If I go over here, you'll see that we have just tested a basic fence. So you can see the stones now actually have little polygons, so they show you what ore that is. So that's copper, this is iron. If we're lucky, we'll see some gold. It's quite rare to see gold on the surface, but it can happen from time to time. The willow stages. Oh yeah, some dirt expansion. Maybe I can show that So if I let this tree grow, it will start spawning dirt. Has it got enough water? I think it has. There we go. Now it's got to the max stage. Now it's starting to spread dirt. At the moment, trees do not grow when you're flying. You have to be close to them. I think I might change that so you can just fly around in the sky and dictating where your land grows to, which I think will be really fun, and pushing rivers and forming lakes. Conceptually, forming the land from above has like a deeper like meaning to it. It kind of works nicely. And I think it's just more fun, and you can see the world you're shaping. So it's hard to explain just how much progress this is, because there's lots of things behind the scenes. We have lighting, there's natural light that kind of spawns around the good spawners. As you can see in this area, it's lit up automatically. Oh yeah, we have proper player rig. That's a big deal. It doesn't really show it, but we have a real player rig. Okay, visible collision shapes. Play. So now it's hard to tell, but there's a light blue line around the tiles, around some of the tiles. You can see it easier on the magma. So this is Godot telling us which tiles block the player object. So when we have a player character and it falls, it will land on these tiles. In the previous update, we just fell straight through the ground and into the abyss. But now we actually, can jump and land. I think even flying is new, right? Did we have flying before? How much have I done in 2 weeks? Having collision shapes where they kind of block the movement of your character across the entire world is inefficient. So with AI's help, of course, we now move the collision shapes around based on the proximity of the character. So it's efficient. It's one of the performance things I did, basically. So it's efficient. You can see it just moves around with you even at lower levels. And now I'm going to show you the climbing. So the collision shape doesn't correctly update on climb, so I'll fix that later. You can see that it kind of goes in a little bit. But yeah, you can climb walls now, and you can sprint, toggle off run, walk, jump to fly up higher. You can tap the spacebar to fly or hold it to kind of stay the same level. I'm getting flying XP because I'm just flapping my wings, staying the same level. You can't see it yet because there's no model, but there will be. Action toggle, where you can turn actions on and off. I did show you before, but if I want to stop things from spawning like clouds, I can just turn them off. Oh yeah, the spawners are not permanent. That's actually kind of a big deal. But each spawner is spawned with a certain capacity of possible evil NPC spawns. So you see this one's got a smaller cube above it. These ones have got bigger cubes. That means more can spawn. So if I kill one that comes from this, another one will spawn, but it's not infinite. So this will have like 80 to kill. This will have like 12 to kill. And once you defeat them all and all of the spawns from that have been killed, then it'll go away and turn into normal magma and all spread. So the idea is you and your good NPCs, in order to expand your world and grow the trees, the plants, all the good stuff, you have to defeat the enemies basically and really fight your way. You can't just grow the world for nothing. As your world grows, evil NPCs will spawn and you will have to defeat them in order to grow. So if I get injured, every now and again we auto heal on the defense skill. I also have a heal, and every action will have the ability to bind a key to it. So here I've bound the Y key. So if I want to manually heal, I can just hit Y. So, oh yeah, the other thing as well with the world expansion, the dirt expansion, is that if it rains on hot magma, it cools it really quickly. And that turns it to obsidian. Super dark purple, glassy material, obsidian, with a natural dirt growth and plant growth, fueled by water that you have to create from clouds by flying in the sky. Also integrated with magma for obsidian, which will be useful for the early game. Lots of interesting things are starting to happen, and we're starting to build quite interesting worlds. There is so much to do. I might have forgot other stuff that I've done, but I'm just going to keep on going. That's basically the progress update. In terms of the technical stuff that's worth showing, maybe you kind of notice the madness that's going on behind here. Let me just quickly then talk about that. So before, what I was doing is I was talking to an AI, problem solving a feature I wanted to do, and then it would prompt codecs that would do the work. I think I explained this before. We have like a two-way process. First, all of the prompts are just PS only, problem solving with codecs agent, and it proposes what it wants to do. Then the chat quality checks what it's going to do, make sure it's not doing anything silly. And the chat knows more about my long-term plan, the vision, my intention, and Codex is focused entirely on programming. So keeping all of that significant quantity of conceptual detail within the big chats and not relying on Codex, for me is proved really, really kind of useful and productive and successful. I can restart lots of new Codex chats. It focuses on programming, the engineering, doesn't really care about the law and the integrity of the decisions. That's what this chat does. And it's nice to have the AIs QC each other because they keep kind of challenging each other, which is good. And I just copy paste between the two of them. This has been working really well, but sometimes I'm waiting for either one of them to think or to program or whatever. So while that's happening, I go over here. I've got the same setup, but I'm testing Claude instead. So now I've got two pairs of AIs and therefore two agents programming at the same time. So this one here you can see is on the main branch. This is the dev model generator branch. So I've been problem solving with AI about how to split multiple agents on the same project on the same laptop. So we have two separate branches, two separate folders on my computer, two Godot windows that are running the two separate folders. You can see this is the main build and this is the model generator build. So I can go here, work on this one, push play, test, the feature that I'm working on. When I'm happy with it, give it feedback. When this one's done, jump to this one, push play, test the thing that it's working on, give feedback. And then every now and again, I just merge the two together so they're up to date. This is amazing. It's so productive. I've basically got two agents working side by side simultaneously, and I'm jumping between the two, making sure that they're okay, answering questions, directing them, making decisions, instructing them, telling them what to do next. Before, I was going to use AI to generate models. I was looking at Meshi, Tripo3D, other websites where you can basically put in reference images, put in some text, and it creates a 3D model for you. And some of them even rig and animate that model for you. I realized this is not the way to go, and I'm really happy that I realized that this early on in the project. So what I'm doing is completely different to that. The plan has changed. I've actually cancelled my subscriptions to all of those websites. I don't need them anymore. Blender's never going to be opened again. I can just uninstall it, and those AI websites are not going to be used to generate models. Instead, I'm going to be using my agents, this middle one specifically, to build procedural generator provider classes. You can see here that I've got a provider class that creates a tile mesh. I've also got provider classes that create the tree mesh, the grass mesh, and the cloud mesh. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to program classes that generate with mathematics and C# the 3D model. So every vertice, edge, face will be calculated and determined procedurally in a way where we can control. So if I go, oh, I would like to change this tree slightly because the polygons look a little bit too neat, I want them to be a little bit more natural, we can just update the algorithms and then all of the trees will then improve, and I don't have to go to some other AI building tool and panic for days and days and days changing the design of my trees. The other reason I love the idea is we can have variation. So if there is a willow tree, we can have variation in our procedural generation. So there could be 30 different styles of willow tree, or different polygon positioning, different leaf positioning, and that could just be generated from a seed. So storing the model on people's worlds is really efficient, and we can just regenerate based on the seed. And I realize this will be so much faster, so much better. So AI is still producing the 3D model. It's just doing it via programming rather than, running a model that creates a model. And this just unlocks so much more productivity. So everything from the character, the animations, the textures, the tiles, the plants, the buildings, the objects, every single 3D thing will actually now come from procedural generation classes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the other cool thing about procedure is if you want a tree to grow naturally from a small starting point and growing, and it looks like one stage represents the future of a previous stage, that's easier to achieve procedurally. Because now, if I wanted to create a tree model using those online models, it's going to be doing lots of inefficiencies. There'll be high poly counts in areas that don't need high poly counts. There'll be slightly too low poly count where I want this a little bit higher, like in a face of a character. I now have full control of everything. But for me, it's still the same. I'm just chatting to an AI going, oh, the detail of the polys on this face on character B is too low. I want to increase it and have this face expression. And it will do it just via the codex agent programming it in to the procedural generators. So I'm very much happy with that. The plan next is to make a third agent. I don't think I need a pair for this one, but I may have a third pair. And this will focus entirely on the HUD, on the user interface, because it's a bit harder to decouple the user interface, but it's still possible. Yeah, we'll have three agents in parallel, one working on the core game, one working on all the models and the animations and the materials, and then the other one working on the interface and the HUD, and they'll be working in parallel. I'll prioritize left first, so I'll be working on the game. If it's waiting for anything to do, I'll then be working on models and meshes. If both of them are thinking and doing stuff and programming, I'll then move into the HUD, and the HUD will expand into sound effects and music as well. I think in many ways it's more complex, but in some ways it's now simpler because I don't have all these different websites I need to use. I just have ChatGPT, Claude, Codex, Godot, and lots of C Sharp. And that's all I need. And I also realize when it comes to the sound effects and audio generation and text to speech, just to make the game immersive, by the time I get to that point, there'll be offline models for that, which I can just put into the game. And so I don't even need an online subscription for that. So yeah, I reckon it's possible to make highly complex AAA quality games as one person with nothing but just standard AI like Claude or ChatGPT subscriptions and Visual Studio Code and Godot. I'm convinced. You just have to be motivated and do it. So I'm going to try and prove that, basically. Fingers crossed I can finish version 1 of the game before there is an AI that can make my game better under one prompt, because that would be kind of sad. And it's like, why am I doing this? But um, I want to still go ahead with the project just in case that doesn't happen, and I want to build this game and have this game released. So maybe the life will take over and the progression will slow down. But I'm trying to spend at least a couple of hours on this every single day. So let's see what happens. I wish you a lovely 2 weeks, and I'll see you next time. And who knows what the game will look like by then. Thank you very much.